Well, it's Talk Birdie, Timmy. We love a bonus podcast. And here's another one. Massive thanks to our mates at the Golf Clearance Outlet who beat everyone's prices, and Ping, who, like they've done for Nick O'Hearn, they'll help you play your best. And the Watch My Numbers app. Play smarter and use your data. Now, a bonus episode of Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Okay, welcome to this bonus podcast, and it's all feedback. So let's go, Dan.
Okay, this one's from Jay. So a bunch of questions, and this is stuff we didn't have time for on the normal pod.
I love these.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. So this is from Jay. Jay has said, hey guys, I play at two different courses, one with Cooch, the other with Kikuyu. I've noticed that I have to adapt my wedge game depending on which one I'm playing on. I've noticed on Kikuyu, the leading edge can get caught up in the shot and can duff it really easily. By the way, I play for 5 handicap, but I think this might be a common problem for any level of golfer. Any advice on wedge grind bounce that I should play?
Okay.
You're the expert on grind, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm also an average chipper these days. So I kind of tick a couple of boxes.
After all these masterclasses, you're an average chipper. Come on.
Well, compared to what we used to be, Nick,
Okay.
you know,
All right.
there was a bit of magic there back in the day, but not anymore. But look, I had the Vokey S grind with 10 degrees bounce, and I use that in summer. But I'm very lucky to where Tyler's provided me with a new K grind, which has about 14 degrees bounce. Now, where I play at the moment at Kingston Heath...
Is that on your lob wedge?
Yes, on my lob wedge.
14 degrees.
14 degrees.
Wow.
So I threw in just for a bit of a go because it's just been sitting in my boot for a long time. I thought, let's have a go with it. I couldn't get over how well I'm chipping with it off the bare stuff, like the dormant grass that is at Kingston Heath at the moment. So I'm in two minds. I think when the grass is alive again, then I'll probably go back to the S grind. But I'm absolutely loving this K grind off the bare stuff at the moment. And I know that a lot of bounce would help you on the Kikuyu as well. So if you're playing at those two golf courses and you just want to buy one wedge, I think a 14 or a 12 degrees of bounce is the way to go. That's certainly the way I've found it myself personally. So,
well,
Nick,
you're going to be frightened by the amount of bounce on my sand wedge, which is 6 degrees.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. I love using the leading edge, but the way I used to play the Kikuyus was, if anything, just open it up a little, which provided a bit more bounce, and then feel a more rounded swing, so it was more of a shallower angle of attack. That's the other way to do it if you can't get two different wedges.
That's interesting. You've just reminded me. Before I got the K wedge out of the boot, what I was doing is my sand iron, which has 55 degrees. It was a 54 bent to 55. That has 14 degrees of bounce on it as well. But instead of using a lob wedge for lob wedge chips, I was opening up my sand wedge, and that gave you more bounce.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And that was a good way of doing it as well.
Yeah.
Tiger does a lot of that. So
Yes.
Tiger chips with his 56 all the time, not so much his 60.
Yeah, I did that with my 54
Yeah, there you
quite
go.
a bit.
So a lot of these places where you think it might be a square-faced lob wedge, maybe try the open-face 55, 54, 55 or 56, and you'll get that extra bounce on that Kikuyu grass you're looking for.
Before we move on from Jay's question, he or she went on to finish by saying, "Love the podcasts, except Marco, your choice of jokes. You need better material, please." And then he put a laughing emoji there.
Oh, good. All right, I'll search for better material. I think I'm done. I think I'm joked out. I think it's done.
Or we just cut it in.
We'll just cut it.
We'll just
We'll edit it out.
We'll stop it right there.
Now, question from Ashley here. Ashley has said, guys, should PGA pros or trainee pros be allowed to win weekday or weekend comps? Amateurs can't play in pro-ams and take their prize money, but pros can play in comps and pay less comp fees, and they can take the prizes. Even if pros are members, I don't think they should be allowed to win as they are professionals. What do you think?
Interesting. I quite often win $5 here and $10 there in the comp and think nothing of it. But if there are amateurs out there who are offended by that, I kind of understand that too. So you could just leave me out if you want. Kingston Heath, if you want to. Or maybe I have to say, I've already told the club that because I'm still a pro, I don't want to play in club championships. I don't want to play in pennant. Just leave me out of all that stuff. I don't want to take anybody's spot. But if taking the 2 hot dots away from somebody else. If that's offensive, then fair enough. Maybe I should maybe I should just finish it off.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on the club champs, the pennant things like that. I've said no, I'm not taking spots away, but I love playing the club comps because it gives you a little bit of something to play for, and that's what handicaps are for.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, when I first came back to Australia, I played in because I joined Woodlands when I first came back. And I remember I was still playing pretty good. Yeah. And I was off a +5 handicap. Yeah. I shot 65, 66 that weekend. Yeah, I had 37 and 38 points, and I won a $5 voucher. so if you think about it in those terms, that's what handicaps are for, because we're just going to play to our skill level now. Since then, I've never won a comp, but funnily enough, I was playing down the National last week.
I was going to ask.
And I played really well, and I actually
shot
won.
31 on the back 9, I've been told.
30. 5 under on the back, yeah.
Even on the front, 5 under. So you shot 67.
67, but I'm playing off.
How many points?
39, because I'm off a +2.
How many balls did you get for 39 points?
Well, I don't know. I haven't had a look, but I did win the comp, but now I'm back to a +3. But that's the beauty of the handicap system, I think. Right. So personally, again, if it offends this fella, well, apologies, but I love playing in these comps.
You're a member, I'm a member.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I reckon, though, I've got another view on that too. I appreciate what Ashley's saying, and I do agree on the pennant situation. That makes absolute sense. But I reckon if you're a golfer and you're a member and you're not a pro, you're just like an average bloke or lady or whatever, it'd be a bit of a thrill. You could playing at a comp against Nick O'Hearn or Mark Allen or all these other
bragging
pros.
Rights. Yeah.
Bragging rights. Yeah. Like if you happen to knock you off.
I hear it all the time. Don't worry. Yeah, when they beat me.
It's the greatest thing about golf, though, is that Nick can have his 67 last week, and Mrs. Jones, playing off a handicap of 42, can have 40 points and can beat you.
Yes.
And I think that is just no other sport has that.
No.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about golf.
Okay, next question. This from Robbie. Robbie says, hello, guys. I love the show. Last week you spoke about the potential new Huntingdale golf course. How do you assess a course before it's completed? Can you read it and get a feel for it by plans on paper? What do you look at? How do you visualise it? And how good do you think the new course could be?
I think it could be better than Metro. That's what I think. Knowing who's designing it. And I know the land at Huntingdale really well. I was a member there for 30 years, and I had been running around that golf course for probably 35 years. So I know every sand dune and all the clay areas and the potential of that place. I also know that course designer is a superstar in the world of golf course architecture. And just looking at the plans and hearing things, apparently they've cleared away a lot of trees, but not the best trees on the golf course. And some of these trees, apparently, it just looks gorgeous down there.
Okay.
I also know how much money's going in, thanks to Cranbourne Golf Club. And I saw what money can do at Peninsula Kingswood. Peninsula Kingswood went from being a nothing 36-hole golf course as far as the world was concerned to now next time those world reviews are out, it'll be... One of them will be a top 50. One of them will be. They both should be, because I have the north and south at Peninsula Kingswood pretty high up. You know, I've got the north and south, both of them past Victoria, past Metropolitan. So if you can do that with money, knowing what is available at Huntingdale, I think it could be anything.
Interesting, yeah. Well, you know Huntingdale a lot better than I do, having been a member there, and you've seen the plans and everything. I'd love to take a walk around at some stage to have a really good look at how it's progressing. We were there very early on, but it was just sand everywhere, wasn't it, really?
We're invited. We're invited.
Yeah,
we're invited.
I'm looking forward to that. But if it does turn out to become better than Metro, well... Yeah. They've done an unbelievable job, because Metropolitan is a phenomenal
place, an incredible place.
And they're going to do some work there. Not OCM, but I believe Metropolitan's going to fix up a few of their holes as well, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they need to. They need to. And they also need to have a look at the overgrown trees as well. I mean, they planted trees a long time ago, and it just... Some of those areas look messy. So, I mean, that's an easy fix. Hopefully they fix that up as well.
Got a question here from Travis. Travis has said, hey, Nick and Mark, question around Stableford. What is the superior method, modified or standard, and why is there two? Also, what are your thoughts on the par scoring method that no one likes to play? I love your podcast. It's my number one now that Paige has stopped doing hers.
Did she have a podcast? Did she?
I didn't know she had a podcast.
All right, I didn't know that.
Righto. So, look, there was
So what's the difference between modified and standard?
well, I think the professional game had a very different look. So
you're talking about the tournament that was
yeah,
at Reno the other week?
I think there was a minus points if you made a double or something. But
right.
yeah,
Okay.
if you made a birdie, you got more than 3 points.
Okay.
It's
It's what I used to play in the States when I
That's right.
played the Stableford format.
That's modified.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the modified.
I was trying to
version.
figure out what was the difference. Okay.
But I really like the. I'm a casual player these days.
Me too.
And I love playing social golf. And I think Stableford is just a beautiful way of doing it. With the par comp, I'm kind of with you.
I don't like par myself because you can, like, if it's funny, given we're on plus handicaps on those holes, you got to make birdie, otherwise you're
out.
done. So you just attack, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. And how often do you play with somebody who's playing off 15 and they make a birdie and they only get 1 plus
Yeah.
when they had a plus on the hole?
I know,
It should be a double plus.
Yeah.
So, par with double pluses, you get me across the line.
Well,
to
it's
saying
like
that's good.
Stableford then. So
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah,
format, really.
well, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't like
I think
par.
they should. Just get rid of par.
Get rid of par.
All right, a couple more bits of feedback, including the homework that you guys were set on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you've done it. You've got the turn to have a quick review,
So that's the top 5 golfers from 1980 onwards.
male or female.
Australian.
Yeah, Australian golfers.
We
Okay.
will do that next.
Thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me, and if you're up for it, we'd love you to subscribe, rate and share the podcast wherever you listen. And thanks to our great partners who make the show possible, Ping, they'll help you play your best, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world, and the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Now, back to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Okay, Doug. So we got a little bit more work to do. Have you finished up your top 5 golfers since 1980
I have.
in Australia?
I'm ready.
The listener email was from Wayne, and he said, Mark and Nick, can you name your top 5 Australian golfers since 1980, male or female? Wayne listed his top 5, Norman, Webb, Scott, Ogilvy, Senior. But he wants to know
That's
what
a good
yours
list. Is this in order, is it? Or in no particular order?
are. No order.
No order. Okay.
I'm going order.
You're going order?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right.
I've got Minjee Lee at number 5.
Okay. My number 5 is Adam Scott.
Ooh. So I had Adam Scott at number 4
Okay.
because I rate the Players' Championship very highly.
Okay.
And he's won the Masters
Mm.
and the Players' Championship.
Okay.
So I've got him just past Minjee because of that. Minjee's not one major away from jumping Adam Scott, though,
Sure. Okay.
in my view.
All right.
Who's your number 4?
Jason Day.
Yeah, okay. Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go to my number 3, and his name is
What's your number 4?
my number 4. I just said Adam Scott.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's okay. My number 3 is David Graham. You win a US
Ooh.
Open, and if you win a US PGA,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, you forgot about the dog, didn't you?
No. Yeah. Fair call. My number 3,
Yes.
3-time major winner,
Ooh.
Jan Stevenson.
Ooh. See, I didn't have Jan
So
in
you
there.
didn't have Jan in there.
Righto.
Okay.
Sorry, Jan.
All right.
That's a hard list to compile.
It
She
is
won
very
3
hard.
majors. What other majors did she win?
I think she won, might have been 2 US Opens and a PGA or something. I'd have to look that
Well,
up.
hang on. Well,
But
Jan deserves
She does. Let's look
her
that up.
credit. So let me
Yep.
look it up quickly.
Okay.
Jan Stevenson. So, Jan, in 1981, she won the Dew Mariner Classic, which was a major back then.
It's still, well, it became the ANA, I think,
Right.
and now is the Chevron,
Okay.
I believe.
In
It always
ni-
changes its names.
In 1982, she won the Women's PGA Championship.
Mhm.
And in 1983, she won the US Women's Open. So
Impressive.
81, 82, and 83,
Mm.
she won majors. That's enormous.
It's incredible, isn't it?
See, I've missed that because I thought she only won a US Open.
Okay.
But she's won 3 majors. All right, I won't change my top 5. I'll just have to wear it.
Just have to, and I'll wear
Yeah,
not
you'll-
having Minjee in there. So
Yeah, that's all right.
Because
No.
we've got 2 left.
Okay. My number 2 is Kari Webb.
Okay. My number 2 is Greg Norman.
Greg Norman. So your number 1's Curry Webb?
7-time major winner.
Yeah, okay. I just think Greg
As opposed to 2. I get it. And you
Yeah.
got the world ranking, 300 and whatever weeks
Yep.
that was.
Yep.
I mean, no offense to Greg, but
Yep.
it's...
And at one stage in Curry's career too, they were going to have a match between her and Tiger because Tiger was as dominant as Curry was at one point.
Well, if you remember, they had I think it was an under the lights match where they had
Yep.
Tiger and Duval because
Yes.
Duval was dominant, and they had Webb and Sorenstam, those 4 playing
That's
some
right.
sort of a pairs
Yep.
match.
Yep, but I've only got Norman at number 1
Mm.
because what he did for golf in this country
I understand.
will never be surpassed by another golfer ever.
Yep.
What he did.
In that case, yes, but on
Yes.
record, I'll go Curry.
That's right.
So, there you
But
go.
waiting lists, I only know this in the Sandbelt in Melbourne. Waiting lists went from 2 years to 14 years at some of the Sandbelt clubs
Wow.
in his era
Yeah.
of golf.
Gosh. Mm.
Tough list to do.
That was very
well
hard.
done. Let's quickly run through them. Quick mark, 5-1. What are they? What's
Greg
yours?
Norman, Curry Webb, David Graham, Adam Scott, and Minjee Lee at number 5.
That was 1-5. What's yours, Nick?
I had Curry Webb, Greg Norman, Jan Stevenson, Jason Day, Adam Scott.
Nice.
Very nice. Okay, next bit of feedback. This is from Rick. Rick has said, Nick, you mentioned recently you played golf with Paul Marsh. Paul played junior golf at Nedlands, where you also won the Nedlands Masters.
I did.
In its day, that was one of Australia's premier tournaments, albeit only a 9-hole course, and it was televised at times in the 70s. Sadly, it's no longer played. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all the great Australian tournaments that are no longer around.
Oh, wow.
I don't think he means all the thoughts. I think
yeah.
he just means some of the great
Just
tournaments.
some of the ones that were great.
I remember going out to the Netherlands Masters as a kid and watching this young not young West Australian, but a guy who won it seemed every single year.
Terry Gale?
Terry Gale. 9-time winner of the Netherlands Masters. I looked that up because that is incredible. Stephen Leaney won it quite a few times as well. There was Brad King and all these, Ian Baker Finch, Wayne Grady, all these guys used to go over and play it. And Neddies is a fun golf course too because it's 9 holes and you basically pass the clubhouse 3 times in 9 holes. It's like I used to play at 36 holes in one day and you'd get just dizzy.
Yeah.
And it had 3 drivable par 4s.
Yeah.
Reachable par 5s. It was a fantastic golf course.
I only
and
played it
I loved
once, but I have fond memories.
Yeah.
And I think the year I played, Brad King
Okay, Kingy won it, did he?
was the year that I played. But yeah, it was a fun tournament. It was fun just to play a 9-hole course. That somehow was fun.
I mean, we all miss the Australian Masters.
Australian Masters,
That's
big
the
one.
obvious choice. Can you think of any other events from?
The Coolum Classic.
Yeah.
I used to love that tournament because
Oh.
it was it was our Christmas party. So no matter where you'd been for that season, everyone would come back. We were allowed to wear shorts.
Yeah.
There was just so much fun in that village. It was our Christmas party. It was just a wonderful week.
That was the golf course that suited me the most.
Yes.
If I could play that week in, week out, and that was any tournament course, I reckon I could have gone close to being number 1.
Yeah, I used to love it.
Because I hit driver
Yeah.
everywhere. You guys are hitting irons, I'm hitting drivers. So.
I used to love the Heineken Classic.
Yes.
At the Vines.
That was
I
a
used
lot
to
of
think
fun.
that was a great event. That
Really
was
good.
such a good event.
And the Johnny Walker Classic is another one.
John O'Rourke played, but every time we played at the Vines, I reckon one year we were playing, I had to wear long pants, and it was 49 degrees.
Might have gone into the 50s at one point.
And we were drinking a bottle of water per hole and not going to the loo.
Yeah.
It was so hot. And I remember at the end of that week, I threw all my clothes away. They were gone. Over.
I may have mentioned this before, but one of my greatest pairings first 2 rounds one year was I got partnered with Greg Norman and Nick Faldo first 2 days.
Yeah.
And I played I was leading after 2 days. I played great. But I just remember walking around with those 2 guys in my hometown thinking, is this a dream? I mean, these are 2 former world number 1s.
I'll give you one more, and I never got to play in it. I was so disappointed. The Australian Match Play Championship.
Oh, I wish we had match play.
The Australian Match Play Championship. It used to be at Kingston Heath every year. Because well and truly before I was.
I was going to say, was this in the 80s?
It was. I reckon it might have been played. The first year that I became exempt in Australia was the last time it was played. So I never got to play.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Australian Match Play, but I think it was there in 1990. I reckon it might have been there in 91. But I used to think the Australian match play was a fabulous event.
Yeah.
Interesting hearing you, Nick, say, I wish we had match play. You haven't really had much success.
No, not at all. But I think they should. Actually, again, it's a tough one to do, not logistically, but for getting the right people at the right players at the pointy end. You want the stars, obviously, at the end, and you don't want a Nico who or whatever, beating someone who's higher up, because the fans and the public and the sponsors don't like that sort of a thing. So, but it'd be fascinating.
Can I tell you something about my career that I've never mentioned ever to anybody?
Okay.
I always
this is the world first.
I always say that I've never had a win, but I did win one event. I won the Victorian Match Play Championship.
Oh, okay.
A long time.
Where was it?
It was virtually a pro-am. It was at Commonwealth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that counts.
Well, it doesn't count. No.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't
Absolutely.
count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Having seen your Twitter explanation where it says won no majors.
Doesn't count. No majors. Won no tournaments.
Yeah. Last bit of feedback, and I'm very interested to hear what you guys say about this one. This is a real interesting one. This is from Neil. G'day, lads. Pace of play is an issue on all tours. I would like to see players timed at all times and no walking slow to the ball to manipulate the situation. Also, these professionals rely too much on caddies. The caddy should carry the bag, but the player should be the one making all the decisions on club choice and yardages. No discussions with the caddy at all about their shots.
Jeez.
She's right in there.
Taskmaster there.
Yeah.
Shot Clock Masters. It was a great event.
Where was that? It was in Sweden?
Switzerland?
Maybe? Was it?
I don't know. It was somewhere up there. It was a Shot Clock Masters.
That was very good.
It was a great event. I think the last group on Saturday and Sunday finished under 4 hours or right on 4 hours. It was something like that. And it was a record score, under par for that tournament. So it's just really hard to coordinate it all. That's the hardest bit, is to have a shot clock for every group. And
it's
people,
a lot of volunteers, a lot of golf carts, and a lot of technology to get it all going.
And people qualify to understand.
When does the shot clock start?
All that sort of stuff too. You've got to be qualified. You've got to know the intricacies of professional golf.
It's easy to do on a tennis court or something because it's there and you've only got two players to worry about.
Yeah, that's it.
What about the caddies?
The caddies, no. They're an integral part of the game.
It's a beautiful part of the game.
Yeah. You talk about that in another sport, in tennis, how the coaches shouldn't be able to talk to the players. They all did it, and now they just let them do it anyway. So I think the conversations you get between player and caddy is brilliant, and I think it adds to it.
A beautiful part of golf.
Yeah.
That would be a travesty to lose.
Weirdly, the guy who said the caddy never did anything but carry the bag was the greatest of all time, Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
His caddies, he said, no, they're just there to carry the bag. I did the yardages and I chose the clubs and read the putts.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Well, when you're light years ahead of everybody else, it's probably easier to do.
Yeah.
Or he just didn't trust him. I don't know.
Well, some excellent feedback there, some questions there. We love doing the bonus Q&A pod. If you want to leave us a question or a voicemail.
I know how to do it.
How do we do it?
You go to talkbirdie2me.com.au, and when you go on the page, you scroll down a bit because it's not on the front bit.
Have you done it? Have you scrolled down?
I had a look, and then you scroll down a little bit, and you'll see an orange button. It says record. So you push it, and then you can record your question.
Well done, mate.
Mate, it's a year and a half in, and you finally got that. Well done.
Yeah, you didn't even know we had a website.
I made the effort.
Thanks, boys.
See you guys.
And thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to Me. We appreciate you listening and getting involved. And a huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Without them, the show just wouldn't be the same. Watch my numbers. Download the app and turn your bogeys into birdies by analysing and improving your game like never before. The Golf Clearance Outlet. Awesome prices on great gear. You can see them in Melbourne, Sydney, Brizzy, Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. And Ping. See your local golf shop or professional to arrange a Ping Club fitting. They'll help you play your best. If Ping's good enough for Nick O'Hearn, well, that says it all. And we'd love you to get involved with the show. You can leave a voicemail with any comments or questions at talkbirdie2me.com.au or send an email or comment on the socials. And if you can share the pod with a friend, well, we'd love that. Talk Birdie to Me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media. Sound design, Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.